in this situation, bro, people looking at, oh, what is you supposed to do this, supposed to do that. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Simple. I know, cause I would have got out of here by now. When I seen I couldn't get out of here, I knew couldn't nobody get me out of here. Somebody, I hate talking like this because it sounds so, it sounds so comical. Somebody sold their soul. That's just all there's to it. Somebody sold their soul to do this. Somebody did a stay here curse spell. People don't know when you do these spells in this black magic, that's selling your soul. I knew when you got this test, you got certain things that came up. This test, just certain different things. All the tank, fraudulent, everything that could possibly happen to you wrong in the world happened to you at one time. It's almost over though. Like somebody put me in this, and it made it look like somebody was trying to create a Jesus. That wasn't it though. It's that when somebody do that, you just gotta look at the perfect synchronicity of things. When somebody do that, when somebody do stuff like that, they put you in a dark night of the soul. So you ain't got no choice but to elevate. And it make anybody look like Jesus Christ. That's going to the crest chakra. You have to elevate. So while y'all sitting there saying, he this and he that, he this and he that, boring. Basically boring. It's like going to court. You in the dark night of the soul, you in spiritual court. You can't go to the courthouse in the physical, doing whatever you want to do. Same thing in the spiritual. Somebody sold their soul. And that's why no matter how hard you try, I know, cause I try to get myself out of here, and I know I'm good at doing stuff. I couldn't do it. Somebody sold their soul to do that. Like, it was a lot of other stuff that went on too, but somebody finally went over here and pushed over the ledge and sold their soul. And they probably answered that. If you go back on the card reading, like, I know, that's why I keep saying it, because I know a lot of y'all don't read cards, but God told me to go to the card readings in 2020. And when I went to listen to I just had to listen to them. I don't listen to them now, but when God told me to, I did. And it said a few people accidentally sold their soul. Playing little crazy games. And that's why all this stuff came. I don't like to talk like that. I don't like to even think about it. I don't even like to believe in it. But when you look at all the things that have fraudulent crimes, that test, dark night of the soul, destiny swapping, birth certificate, identity theft, all this, and all of it happened to you at one time. Man, come on, bro. It was like that's entombing somebody in the physical. At one time, for what? I ain't did nothing to nobody to deserve all that. Somebody went above and beyond and sold their soul. And they scared. They nervous. I know who it is, but I don't even talk about it. It ain't worth it. Because they know they accidentally did it. Trying to please a man. And they scared to death now because I know they sitting back like, that wasn't even worth it. That wasn't even worth it. No, it wasn't worth it. It was crazy. And then I call it a hell movie, but, whatever. All the other stuff, stadiums, all that, I don't even. But yeah, I look at the real stuff like the fraudulent identity, dark night of the soul, all that stuff you have to deal with. And it's like, watch me make that test. Rather, if I said don't do that test, you ain't got to do that test. If somebody sacrifice you, you are invisible. Okay, for a while. To whatever contract, 5 to 10 years. I had to learn this. And in other words, it's a possibility that you had to do that test to let the astro know you were still around somehow. Your energy is still whatever. It's a possibility now. And you can't do too much of it. You got to be traversed with it, and that's too much. It's like you got to try to elevate. Like, let's say you were elevating like this, it stopped you. You elevating like this. And you do that test gonna kind of stagnate. That's what it's doing, stagnating you. But you gotta do it because they gotta recognize you. And they gotta put you back together because somehow you can lose part because it ain't just the tool. They can take your brain apart. I had to learn that, bro. You can't just sit here. It's like you gotta do certain things. Cause it's like you look dead in the astro and in the physical and in the spiritual. You look dead. So why would they keep gifting? Why would they keep blessing somebody that's dead? See what I'm saying? Somebody sold their soul. Somebody accident, a group of girls sold their soul. It might have been 3 girls, 3 witches. Some people say 3 witches. On the card, they say 3 witches. But they accident sold their soul. It's almost over now, though. I know for a fact 5 years over with, 6 years over with. So, and we might be on possibly on year 7. By 44, this is over with. I'm 42 now. For a fact, probably. So it's like somebody just went crazy, bro. Somebody just went crazy. Somebody did something stupid. They know it. They know it. They know it. And what happened is these attacks, they gotta try to kill me. And that's one of the reasons probably God said stay right here. It's like the house is protected as well. And it's like it's gonna be hard for them to try to do it. If I'd have got out of this protected area, then it would have been a lot easier for anybody. Cause you ain't dealing with humans no more in that situation. You're dealing with legions. So that's why they put you in a dark night of the soul. You have to be still. And that's why so many people die or go to prison. Because you don't understand how it feels to be in a dark night of the soul. And I didn't even know it was real. I had to look it up. Because people kept telling me when I was moving back here, they were like, bro, you're in a dark night of the soul, you don't know that? And there was different nationality of people saying it. My people don't know nothing about this. And I was like, why they keep saying dark night of the soul? And I looked it up, and that's what it was. I noticed they were standoffish. They didn't want to be around. But somebody, it's like they took your energy. It's like you walking around with no energy. Connect, no aura. Somebody took your stuff from you. And it's slowly coming back. And as it come back, it wreak havoc on the people who did all this. So everybody who grouped up with those people gonna fall with them. It ain't gonna work anyway. That's why I didn't care. That's why everybody see why he's so nonchalant. Because it's fake. It's an illusion. That ain't their energy. That's my energy they dancing in. And it's gotta come back to me. And that's why secretly those people, they ain't gonna never say nothing. They need me to die. They need me to die. Otherwise, fear time. And that's why I said certain ones could have cleaned up, turned their life around, still didn't want to do it, and would have saved themselves, but they didn't want to do it. And to get an option like that in this situation is amazing. So you know that person had to been special on the other side. It's crazy, bro. But that's what's going on. That's why I don't worry about it. I could tell, and I said what I said was going to happen. I said after year 5, up to year 7, you're going to see people start panicking and running and acting crazy and stuff being, yeah. So it's like the test. That's why I don't never say I won't do the test, but it's times that I can't do the test because I'm getting these spiritual blessings from the heavens. And then it's times I got to do the test. But I can't do that test recklessly. I can't do that test like the way they want me to do it, where they can cipher from me and cipher all my energy. I got to do that test temporary because this window of time that I'm in, it's still got a little bit of ways to go. So on the outside, people saying, you shouldn't do this, well, you can't do nothing. You ain't save nobody, you ain't help nobody, you don't even know where I'm at. See, everything's still blacked out. That's where all that's coming from. Whoever sold, they sold. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be alive. I don't want to do it, I hate doing it, but I'm learning. If I didn't supposed to do it, I wouldn't be learning while I'm doing it. It'd be treated like a sin accordingly. But it's not. It's something else going on deeper and more sinister. And that's what it is. They probably of course they probably use it for ritual, but they're not getting the ritual out of me because who I'm sharing my energy with is my wife in the spiritual, for real. So I'm not sinning. Y'all trapped me in a situation so I couldn't be with a lover. Now on the physical, it might look like a church or somebody, whoever attacking me trying to make me a Jesus Christ. That might be the illusion that's fed to man to keep it down. But that ain't what's going on. What's going on is somebody sold their soul. And I was already in the world. You can't take nobody in the world and then bring me in and say, be Jesus Christ. You can't do nothing like that. What it is, when you're in the dark night of the soul, you got to elevate to Jesus Christ and stay alive, stay above the water, because they're going to be attacking you by every angle. So you got to elevate and do all this stuff to stay elevated real high so they can't affect you and you won't descend. And it's a lot more of us getting our souls. I mean, it's a lot of people sacrificing a lot of us more than you think. If you trapped on drugs and done try to change your life and no matter what, seem like you can't get away from it. Same thing with prostitution. Then you might want to look into that. You probably been sacrificed. Yep. There's a lot of this going on. I don't even look into that. I didn't. In 2018, you couldn't tell me nothing like this, and I believe it. But when it happened to me, I said, "Wow!" And the only reason why I believed it instantly when they told it to me is because the family of the person that I know did it to me, they energy, they atmosphere is like the same atmosphere I feel. It's like a lot of them, because what it is when they do that, it goes back on to them. And the same position they wanted me in, they be in that position 10 times worse. And they got to stay in it till they die. Or they got to die out of here and go into a worse position. Yeah. That's why I said still, that's why I don't care. I don't care about none of that they got going on. I don't care about none of that. Because I know somebody sold their soul and it wasn't relevant. You didn't do it. For one, I'm not a bad person. And whatever you kept projecting onto me, none of it was real. You kept projecting onto me so you could go out there and do what you want to do and feel comfortable and good doing what you were doing. But now, especially you got the cameras on looking, and you say I ain't nothing like you was projecting, you should be scared to death around this time. Because I never moved that way anyway. People out there got to stop thinking everybody do the same thing everybody else do. That's the problem. I ain't never been like everybody else, ever in my life. People used to say I was like people in my family. I used to tell them I ain't nothing like nobody in my family. No offense in that. I might look like my daddy and them, so I ain't nothing like nobody in my family. Ain't no way in hell. And my boys would be with me, and they knew it. Then one Nick would laugh and say, you do look like your daddy though. But that's it. I ain't never been like nobody in my family. I don't play around with my life. I don't play around with my soul. This soul belong to God, boy. You better know it. I don't play no game. I take God everywhere with me, in the street. Wherever I was at, God was always first. Because I was forced to be in a lot of these positions anyway. People kept on attacking me. That's this jacket on me. Once you start attacking me, you're going to keep attacking me. You're going to click. You're going to link yourself to me. You're going to bind yourself to me. You're going to string yourself to me. And you think you hurt me and stuff, but you just chained to me. I'm not the one that everybody should have played with at all. And I kept telling my exes that, because when I'm with a female, I don't show them all that. I be like a man need to be around a female. But they couldn't understand the respect I was getting. They couldn't compare. They couldn't figure out the respect I was getting wasn't matching up to the way I was treating them. And they didn't get it. They thought it was some kind of facade going on. You know it ain't no facade. Now don't you know it's real. Now don't you? Don't nobody play with me. I earned my ranking. Every bit of it. And you better know it. I earned everything. I earned to run my mouth. I ain't never been on my knees. Except when I was a baby. And once I started walking, I stayed off my knees. I had to go through the mud that was on my feet. I ain't never been on my knees, bro. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what's going on. So while y'all looking and saying, well, you shouldn't do, you can't save me anyway. I don't went months. You pulled me in it for one. You pulled me into that test. I was celibate 3 years before you. I've been dealing with that test for 2 years. I've been stuck in this situation for 3.5 years before I even started doing the test. You didn't save me then. You ain't gonna save me when I stop it. You can't. Can't nobody do nothing because somebody sold their soul to do this, and they gotta wait till this deal is up. I know. It ain't nothing I can't get myself out of. I know what time it is. All this stuff, Shark Tank, Destiny swapping, uh, um, identity theft, um, doppelganger, just on and on and on. Everything that could possibly happen to the person that happened to me at one time, that's an entomb right there, man, in the physical. Somebody sold their soul. There wasn't nothing I could do. And then the shutdown of the electronics, the network system. My network still don't get, that's why I turn my notifications off, because I still don't get the right notification. Well, I do and I don't. I still don't get the right messages. I just knew it. That's why everybody watch from the stadium. That's why they know they can't do nothing. They gotta know something like that, something like what I know. Somebody did something crazy. I mean, somebody probably did an experiment. Somebody probably did an experiment for like 10 years. Some kind of experiment. But all that plays under the same thing. All that do. Somebody just did too much. And this time, God said once it's over, though, it's over. They ain't going to be able to do this no more. Because he going to change his jacket out. And it's over. They ain't going to be able to do all this no more. Because, see, on the spiritual, it just look like a jacket. And he going to take the jacket and switch it out. He said it ain't going to be like that no more. It's a vacuum jacket. You think you're doing something to me, but you really just binded yourself to me. All of you. Everybody who had anything to do with any way, any shape, any way fashionable of hurting me in any kind of way, you binded yourself to me. And I told y'all, I warned y'all about that. I said, I try to get out my energy. None of y'all can get out my energy. Neighbors, nobody. Ain't nobody able to, you try, you can't. You always in my energy. You're going to stay in my energy. And I can tell you exactly what's going to happen to you. But I ain't going to worry about it. You finna see. I've been in this body longer than everybody else. I've been in this body my whole life. I'm telling y'all, bro. That's why this is the real movie. So stay tuned.